Think your SUV is a safe investment just because it's sitting in your driveway today? Think again. Most people believe that once a car is sold, it's yours to keep forever. But a massive regulatory shift is coming in 2026 that is about to turn hundreds of thousands of popular SUVs into zombie vehicles. We're talking about bans that make recalls look like a walk in the park. If you own one of these 7 models, your reliable daily driver might just become illegal to drive. 1. Ever looked at your SUV sitting in the driveway and thought, this thing is my ticket to freedom? You've done the maintenance, you've kept it clean, and you expect it to last as long as a 300,000-mile Toyota Land Cruiser. But here's the hard truth. By 2026, that same SUV might be legally banned from public roads. I'm not talking about a minor recall for a faulty sensor or a bad door latch. We are facing a massive regulatory shift that is about to turn hundreds of thousands of popular SUVs into zombie vehicles, cars that still run perfectly but are illegal to drive. Trust me, I've been under the hood for 20 years, and I've never seen a storm quite like this. Imagine pulling into your local DMV, ready to renew your tags, only to be told your vehicle has been permanently blacklisted. It sounds like a horror story, but for owners of 7 specific models, the clock is already ticking. Most drivers assume that if a car is for sale today, it's a safe bet for tomorrow. But here's the thing most people don't realize. The 2026 standards are so strict that they are targeting basic frame designs and emissions systems that simply cannot be fixed. If you own one of these models, you aren't just looking at a high repair bill. You're looking at a total loss of your investment. Stick with me, because I am going to show you exactly how to spot these doomed models before they cost you everything. A few minutes of caution today is the only thing that keeps your garage full of assets instead of scrap metal. 2. The intro promise. I've spent the better part of my life under the hoods of everything from 400,000-mile Toyota Camrys to brand new luxury disasters that shouldn't have passed the factory line. I've seen millions of miles of engine wear, and trust me, I can usually tell you how a car's life is going to end just by listening to the cold start. But today, we aren't just talking about mechanical wear and tear. We are pulling back the curtain on 7 specific SUVs that are being blacklisted by federal agencies, insurance giants, and state DMVs starting in 2026. Why should you care? Because if you're looking to buy a used car right now, or if one of these models is sitting in your driveway, you are standing on a financial landmine. We're talking about a complete collapse in resale value and the very real possibility that you won't be able to renew your registration. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which models to avoid, how to check if your specific VIN is on the danger list. And I'll share the one Toyota proven strategy to ensure you never get stuck with a vehicle the government says you can drive. I want to save you from a massive headache and an even bigger hit to your bank account. Stick around, because this 2026 shift is going to catch a lot of people off guard. Let's get to work. 3. SUV number 1, the Ram 1500 Classic. Let's start with the working man's truck. The Ram 1500 Classic has been a staple on American roads because it's simple, affordable, and rugged. But here's the problem. Its bones are too old for the new world. The 2026 federal safety standards are making a massive pivot from protecting the people inside the car to protecting the pedestrians outside of it. Cause: the Classic's front-end geometry is essentially a vertical steel wall. In modern energy absorption tests, it fails miserably. It doesn't crumple, it just hits. Pop the hood on a modern Toyota Tundra, and you'll see complex crush zones designed to fold like an accordion. The Ram Classic doesn't have that luxury. Starting in 2026, states like California and New York are planning to block new registrations for vehicles that fall into this high-risk lethal profile. Fix: there isn't one. You can't just bolt on safety. If you own one, your best bet is to look at trading into a redesigned 2023 or newer model before the 2026 deadline hits. Trust me, I've seen dealership appraisal software already starting to flag these. If you wait until 2026, you're going to be trying to sell a truck that nobody can legally tag. It's like trying to sell a flip phone in the age of the iPhone. It still makes calls, but the infrastructure is moving on without it. Pay attention to those front-end energy ratings, because a tough truck that can't be registered is just a very expensive paperweight. 4. SUV number 2, the Chevrolet Equinox 1.6L diesel. The Equinox diesel seemed like the perfect compromise, SUV utility with the fuel economy of a Toyota Corolla. But this model is hiding a dirty secret that's about to make it a ghost on American roads. During a recent EPA audit, investigators found defeat devices in the engine control software that are eerily similar to the infamous Volkswagen scandal. The cause is simple but devastating. In the lab, the car runs clean. But the moment it hits the real world, it pumps out nearly 40 times the legal limit of nitrogen oxide. Because of this deliberate deception, the 2026 ban on these is total. We aren't talking about a maybe. Registration renewals are being blocked in all 50 states starting in June 2026. If you own one, check your mail for a manufacturer buyback notice immediately. Chevy is being forced to offer compensation, but here's the micro-suspense. The offer is usually based on current market value, which is already cratering because the word is out. I had a customer come into the shop last week thinking he just had a bad sensor. I had to look him in the eye and say, "Don't spend a dime on this. Sell it back to the manufacturer before the paperwork turns this into a permanent lawn ornament." Getting out now is the only way to recover some of your investment. Once 2026 hits, private buyers will treat these like they're radioactive. 5. SUV number 3. The Jeep Compass 2.4L Tigris Hark. The Jeep Compass looks like a mini Grand Cherokee, ready for adventure. But beneath that rugged exterior is the 2.4L Tigris Hark engine. And in my world, we call this the lawsuit engine. The problem? Catastrophic oil consumption. I am talking about owners having to add a full quart of oil every 1,000 miles just to keep the engine from seizing. The cause is a fundamental flaw in the piston ring design and the cylinder head architecture. It's baked into the DNA of the engine. You can't maintenance your way out of bad engineering. Because of this, the NHTSA is implementing a reliability ban for 2026. Any vehicle model with a documented mechanical failure rate over 18% is being added to a new known defect registry. The Compass is currently sitting at a staggering 23%. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Being on this registry allows insurance companies to legally deny accident claims if the failure, like an engine stalling at 70 miles per hour, is the cause of the crash. You become uninsurable. If you're looking at a used 2017 to 2020 Compass, walk away. I've seen too many families stranded on the interstate with a seized engine and an $8,000 repair bill that Jeep refuses to cover. Compare that to a RAV4, where we rarely see significant oil loss even at 200,000 miles. Hope isn't a strategy when it comes to engine longevity. Stick to proven platforms and avoid the Tigris Hark before the insurance companies ban your bank account into oblivion. 6. SUV number 4. Ford Explorer Police Interceptor. You see these all the time at used car auctions. Surplus white Ford Explorers. They're cheap, they've got a powerful V6, and they're built like tanks. Families snap them up thinking they've found a bargain. But these specific Police Interceptor variants are facing a public road ban in 2026 for a terrifying reason: carbon monoxide. The cause is a design flaw in the rear exhaust seals. When police officers would idle these cars for hours, CO would seep into the cabin. Ford tried to fix it with a software update to the climate control, but you can't use code to seal a physical gap in a steel frame. Starting in February 2026, these surplus units are being flagged. Unless you can prove you've had an $8,000 full exhaust retrofit, your tags will be pulled. I've heard stories of kids getting car sick on every trip, only for the parents to realize their children were being slowly poisoned by a silent, odorless gas. It's a nightmare scenario. If you at a car lot and you see an Explorer with a spotlight hole in the A-pillar, do not buy it. No matter how low the price is, your family's health isn't worth the savings. Trust me, I've seen the white Explorer gamble go wrong too many times. Stick to a civilian spec Explorer or a Highlander if you want to breathe clean air on your morning commute. It's a small choice that keeps your family safe forever. 7. SUV number 5. Volkswagen Atlas 5.6. The VW Atlas is beautiful, spacious, and drives like a dream, right up until the moment it doesn't. Specifically, the V6 models from 2018 to 2021 are facing a grounding order by March 2026. The problem is a sudden disengagement, defect in the dual-clutch transmission. Imagine you're merging onto a busy highway. You hit the gas, the engine revs to the moon, but you have zero power to the wheels. You're essentially a 5,000-pound sitting duck in moving traffic. The cause? A software-hardware conflict that causes the transmission to think it's overheating when it isn't, triggering a failsafe that disconnects the engine from the drivetrain. VW has been handling this in the shadows with NDAs and secret buybacks, but a massive class action settlement has forced their hand. Because the fix requires a complete transmission rebuild that costs more than the car's current value, the regulators are moving to ground the fleet. If you own an Atlas 5.6, you need to check your transmission code tonight. If you're on that list, your resale value just hit zero. I always tell my Toyota guys, simplicity is the ultimate safety. A standard 8-speed automatic in a Highlander might not shift as fast as a VW dual clutch, but it won't leave you stranded in the middle of an intersection. Don't get caught in the Atlas trap, where you repaying a loan on a car that is legally unsafe to operate. It's a hard realization, but it's better to know now than when the tow truck arrives. 9. SUV number 7. Tesla Model X Pre-Refresh. This one is going to ruffle some feathers, but we have to talk about the pre-2022 Tesla Model X. Those falcon wing doors are a technological marvel, but they are the reason this SUV is facing a high-risk entrapment ban in August 2026. In a rollover accident, if the vehicle loses power, which happens frequently when a massive battery pack is compromised, those doors lock solid. The cause? There is no mechanical manual override that can be reached from the outside of the vehicle. If you're upside down and unconscious, first responders cannot get you out with standard tools. The frame is too reinforced for traditional jaws of life to work quickly. I'm a tech guy, but as a mechanic, if a door requires electricity to save my life, I'm out. Starting in 2026, owners will be forced to pay for $18,000 safety retrofit that adds external mechanical releases. Tesla is refusing to call this a recall, labeling it a voluntary enhancement instead. That means the cost is on you. If you don't do the retrofit, your VIN gets flagged in federal safety databases, and insurance companies like State Farm are already signaling they will drop coverage for non-compliant entrapment risks. If you want an EV, look at the Toyota BZ4X or even a Rivian. They might not have cool doors, but they have handles that work when the power goes out. Don't let a party trick blind you to a terminal safety defect. Your freedom to exit the vehicle in an emergency is the most basic feature a car can have. 10. The Toyota Contrast. Why we aren't on the list? You might be sitting there thinking, man, is every SUV a disaster? And it's a fair question. But notice what isn't on the list. The RAV4, the Highlander, the 4Runner. It's not luck. It's a completely different engineering philosophy. While other brands were rushing cool tech like motorized doors or complex dual clutches to market, Toyota was perfecting the TNGA platform. When the 2026 safety and emissions standards were being drafted years ago, Toyota didn't look for a way to beat the test. They built the cars to exceed the standards by 30% from day one. I've seen the internal frame specs on the new Land Cruiser. The energy absorption zones are massive. They aren't just thinking about the car today. They're thinking about the regulations 10 years from now. This is why Toyotas hold their value. When a ban hits the market, the demand for used Toyotas actually skyrockets because they are the only reliable options left standing. I once worked on a 2005 Sequoia that passed 2024 emissions tests with zero drama. That's the Toyota tax you hear people talk about. You pay a little more upfront, but what you're really buying is future-proofing. You re-buying the peace of mind that a bureaucrat in a suit seat can't turn your car into scrap metal with a single pen stroke. In 2026, that peace of mind is going to be worth more than any fancy touchscreen. 11. The pink fluid warning. How owners ban their own cars here is the hard truth. You can own the most legal, most unbannable Toyota in the world, but you can still ban yourself from the road by ignoring one thing. I see it every week. A owner brings in a 2021 RAV4 with a blown head gasket and a $6,000 repair bill. Why? Because they ignored the pink fluid. In modern Toyotas, that pink super long life coolant isn't just a suggestion. It is the lifeblood of your engine and your hybrid inverter. Over time, that fluid becomes acidic. It stops protecting and starts eating. It will eat through your aluminum radiator and your head gasket from the inside out. It's like having a clean sponge, but pouring battery acid through it. Pop your hood once a month. Look at the plastic reservoir. If you see pink crust or white powder around the hoses, that is a warning shot. Don't wait for a light on the dash. By then, the metal has already warped. $150 coolant flush every 50,000 to 70,000 miles is the only way to stay ahead of a terminal mechanical failure. Maintenance is the only way to keep the government and the scrap yard away from your car. I've seen Toyotas hit 500,000 miles on the original engine, and every single one of them had a cooling system that was serviced religiously. Don't let a $150 maintenance item turn your $40,000 SUV into a driveway monument. 12. The insurance blacklist, the hidden ban. There is a hidden ban happening right now that doesn't involve the police or the DMV. It's the insurance blacklist. I am seeing a massive trend where carriers are quietly phasing out certain SUVs before the 2026 laws even take effect. If you own a vehicle with a known high-risk defect, like the Model X entrapment issue or the Pathfinder S systematic transmission failure, your insurance company is already updating their risk models. They won't tell you no outright. They'll just send you a renewal notice with a premium that is 300% higher than last year. It's a financial ban. I've had customers forced to sell perfectly good-looking cars because they could afford $500 a month just for basic liability. Before you buy any used SUV, do me a favor, call your insurance agent. Don't just get a quote for today. Ask them, is this specific model on the 2026 projected surcharge list? If they hesitate, or if they tell you that model is under a special review, turn around and run. This is exactly why the resale values of the SUVs we discussed today are falling off a cliff. Dealerships use the same risk data insurance companies use. If a car is uninsurable, it's unsellable. The only way to win this game is to stay in the green zone, with models that have documented safety excellence. Your wallet will thank you in 2 years. 12. The insurance blacklist, the hidden ban. There is a hidden ban happening right now that doesn't involve the police or the DMV. It's the insurance blacklist. I am seeing a massive trend where carriers are quietly phasing out certain SUVs before the 2026 laws even take effect. If you own a vehicle with a known high-risk defect, like the Model X entrapment issue or the Pathfinder S systematic transmission failure, your insurance company is already updating their risk models. They won't tell you no outright. They'll just send you a renewal notice with a premium that is 300% higher than last year. It's a financial ban. I've had customers forced to sell perfectly good-looking cars because they could afford $500 a month just for basic liability. Before you buy any used SUV, do me a favor, call your insurance agent. Don't just get a quote for today. Ask them, is this specific model on the 2026 projected surcharge list? If they hesitate, or if they tell you that model is under a special review, turn around and run. This is exactly why the resale values of the SUVs we discussed today are falling off a cliff. Dealerships use the same risk data insurance companies use. If a car is uninsurable, it's unsellable. The only way to win this game is to stay in the green zone, with models that have documented safety excellence. Your wallet will thank you in 2 years. 13. The new and shiny fallacy. The biggest mistake I see car buyers make today is assuming that newer always means better. If you look at the SUVs on our ban list, most of them are actually quite modern. The Equinox Diesel and the Tesla Model X are high-tech machines. But in the automotive world, complexity is the enemy of longevity. When manufacturers rush to put 10-speed transmissions or motorized doors into a vehicle, they often skip the real-world testing that takes a decade to truly understand. This is why Toyota is often criticized for being slow or boring with their technology. But you know what? Boring doesn't get banned in 2026. Boring doesn't leak carbon monoxide into your cabin. I'd rather have a 7-inch screen that works for 15 years than a 17-inch screen that locks my doors in a rollover crash. We are entering an era where cars are being built like iPhones, meant to be traded in or thrown away every 3 years. But a car is the second most expensive thing you will ever buy. Do not treat it like a gadget. Treat it like a tool. And a tool that can be banned by a software glitch or a new energy absorption law is a tool you don't want in your shed. Look for simplicity, look for history, and look for a manufacturer that values your safety over a flashy brochure. 14. The climax, freedom versus dependency. Here is the truth that most car experts and salesmen wouldn't tell you. A car is no longer just a piece of machinery. In 2026, a car becomes a legal contract on wheels. I once had an old gentleman bring in his T100 truck. The seats were torn, the paint was fading, and it had 380,000 miles on the clock. He looked me in the eye and said, "Son, this truck has seen me through 3 different jobs and 2 kids' college graduations. It has never once let me down." That truck wasn't fancy. It didn't have Falcon doors or a V6 diesel. But it gave that man something much more valuable: freedom. When you buy an SUV that is prone to being banned, whether it's for safety flaws, emissions cheating, or systematic reliability issues, you aren't just buying a car. You're buying a dependency. You are now dependent on that manufacturer to provide a fix that might never come. You're dependent on the government not to change the rules. You're dependent on an insurance company to keep you legal. The real ban of 2026 isn't a piece of paper from the DMV. It's the loss of your freedom to drive a vehicle you own outright without the fear of it becoming worthless overnight. It breaks my heart to see a family save for years to buy a Jeep or a Nissan, only to be told their dream car is now a liability. Meanwhile, the family in the 200,000-mile Highlander doesn't even know what a ban list is. Their car just works. Maintenance and model choice aren't just about fixing cars. They are about protecting your family's future and your hard-earned money. Don't let a flashy dashboard blind you to a terminal design defect. The 2026 ban is coming, but now you're ahead of the curve. Take 10 minutes tonight, check your VIN, look up your engine code, and call your insurance agent. If you're driving one of those 7 SUVs, start planning your exit strategy today. Don't wait for the panic in 2025 when everyone else finally figures this out. If this video saved you from a financial disaster, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps me keep the shop lights on so I can keep bringing you the truth. Subscribe to the channel to join a community of owners who value longevity over bells and whistles.